Hello everybody, today we will be playing Don't Eat the Cashier, which is a visual novel-y romance sim kind of game where you take a job, a night shift at a gas station, and you romance monster people and try not to get eaten. Let's get started. My pronouns are she, her. Yes. I'm a lady. Type 2. Lav. Yes. Sometimes I really wonder, how did I end up here? Not that I dreamed of a career as a neurosurgeon or an astronaut, but for crying out loud, working at a gas station? On the other hand, money is money, exactly. Don't look down upon our gas station attendees, we need them. I sent out resumes to every conceivable and inconceivable place, applying for every position where I could somehow use my degree in art. 0 responses. I had to swallow my pride and find at least something. The woes of being an art major. Human organism wanted for work at gas station. Organism's duties include selling food for mouth, okay, silence and obedience, household tasks, obeying those who are more ancient, friendly team offers, new and old faces of friends, long and different life, consumption of nourishment, juicy juices, trips to human places. I found this note stuck to the glass at the bus stop. Food for mouth? Seriously? The guy's got a style of his own. Apparently the manager is just an eccentric dude. Or is this their new marketing tactic to grab attention? Whatever, people often told me that I have my quirks too, and that's even if they haven't seen my fursuit. Wait a minute. So you're a furry and you don't want to be a neurosurgeon? Isn't that like the whole thing, that furries are like doctors and neurosurgeons and crazy shit like that? Well, whatever. As long as he's not a complete jerk who'll hit on me or make me scrub the floors with a toothbrush. Huh. You know, it could be worse. Honestly. I didn't scream. I couldn't move. My brain feverishly tried to find any category for this in its database. Hallucination? Psychosis? Too many energy drinks? Yeah, everybody's been there. One too many Red Bulls and you start seeing flying spaghetti monsters. A typical middle manager? The monster from my nightmares stirred. Its tentacles crept closer to the counter. My god. Creature made a sound. Not from a mouth, it had none. The sound emanated from deep within its bulk hollow, profound bone shaking. Greetings. How am I supposed to read this? Greetings, organism. I am Bob, the indescribable and terrifying consumer of worlds, but you, grain of sand, may call me Manager Bob. Okay, Manager Bob. No. This isn't real. I'm dreaming. I need to wake up. You will sell food for mouse and obey me, for I am ancient. Blup blup. Memorize the rules of this establishment, for my patience is as limited as the salary I offer you. Blup. The Squidward ass sound. Rule number 1. You shall, no matter what, chicken food for the mouth, gremlin fuel, noodles made from cursed souls, blah, 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 blah. Lottery tickets for extra limb raffles, discount rot, ritual foil, everything must be sold, blah, 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 blah. He points directly at me with that creepy slimy tentacle. I don't know, I think it's kind of cute. Every miserable unit of currency brings me closer to my triumphant exit from this pitiful hole. I pinched myself but didn't wake up. Where is that tie attached to is my question. Rule number 2, be polite to customers, ignore bald spots and wear a fur, and watch out for Watch out for drafts when ectoplasmic energetic entities are in the store. Blah, 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 blah. What? But don't let them get too bold. Customers are just walking containers for currency, and they should only pay in monetary units. Blah, blah, blah. What else would they pay in, Bob? Payments in an existential dread or hair of the dead is not accepted. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Many of them come here just to chat because they are idle and purposeless organisms. Your task is to make them part with their currency anyway. Blah, blah, blah. So I have to convince them to pay me money to talk to me. That's pretty much what a therapist is, right? Also, is that over to the top right a picture from the Mandela catalog? Why is that there? It is also your duty to heal organisms if they are injured using special kits. If they die, they can't give away currency. Blah, 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 blah. Ah, werewolves, ectoplasmic entities, and what the hell are you anyway? Hold back. Excuse me, dear sir. You seem to have mentioned werewolves and ectoplasm? Silently tremble with fear. I'm gonna go with the first one. Aha! It seems like all the jars with mysterious content started to shake because of my despair. At last, a human being who knows the proper greetings protocol. Your vocal outburst demonstrates a high level of respect for the hierarchy. Yes, that is what was intended. Your predecessor, Kevin, just mumbled in unsanctionedly excreted tear fluids. There's no crying on the job, chat. No crying on company time. Werewolves and ectoplasmic entities are just a few examples of the many insignificant life forms that frequent this establishment. What unites them is that they are all slaves to consumption, just like your kind. Blah, blah, blah. As for my nature, I am your immediate supervisor and the guarantor of your future financial prosperity. I am at a gas station for monsters. I got a job with Cthulhu for minimum wage. This is all you need to know. Blow. No, only I decide what I need to know. That really is all I need to know. I fear any more knowledge will surely drive me insane. No, you know what? I think me decide what I need to know. Incorrect, human. The statement is actually legally and metaphysically inaccurate. Rebellious conglomerate of water and carbon. I am not a conglomerate. I may be a conglomerate, but I have pride. I demand to know what I'm dealing with. I don't even know what a conglomerate is. I know what a conglomerate is. I may be a conglomerate, but I have pride. Damn it. Pride is an irrational development of self-worth based on arbitrary achievements that are incredibly small on a galactic scale. Until I see your achievements in the only important matter of your miserable life, earning currency units for me, you are forbidden from having pride. I do what I want. Seems like this is what it means to be a worker in the service industry, monster boss or not. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. You are a persistent human organism, and I shall, so be it, tell you more about my interplanetary grandeur, but later. First, you will provide yourself as the perfect vending machine operator, and not a second suitor. He suddenly places a jar in front of me on the counter. Is this a tip jar? Oh, oops. Clicked the wrong button. And the last rule. Remember, organism, this tip container must be filled with money by the end of your wake cycle. If the bottom of the jar is visible, you will clean the sanitary rooms with this object and the dimension of absolute horrors and suffering for 2,510 years. Blah, blah. Is that a fork? I couldn't take my eyes off the fork, the potential tool of my eternal servitude. At this moment, my mind fully capitulated. Yes, I was hired by a multi-eyed cosmic architect squid. Yes, my clients will be non-humans. Yes, I'm being threatened with a fork and eternal toilet cleaning. How could anyone clean anything with a fork? I'm sure there's a way. The same will happen if you even think of escaping before the end of your work contract. My ocular sensorium perceives the subtlest of matters. It will detect you in any corner of this pitiful planetary sphere. Crap, I'm stuck here. I'm in a trap. You could just quit. Do you understand, organism? 2,510. Why not 2,511? Organism, do you dare to use sarcasm? You greatly overestimate your significant single-brained creature. You're the one that needs me here, Chad. You're the one hiring me. I warn you, one more joke like this and the duration of your possible punishment will increase by another millennium, and one prong will disappear from the fork. He gurgles indignantly for a while longer before finally concluding the briefing. Goodbye, organism. Good luck in your currency acquisition and button pressing. Could you show me how exactly do I press the buttons? Point at the buttons on the vending machine. Yes, I think I can handle this perfectly. I point at the sticky buttons on the vending machine. Bob's central eye looks at my finger, then at the machine, then back at my face. The creature sighs. A tentacle extends from his body with torturous slowness. With the drama of a pianist playing the last tragic note, the tip of the tentacle presses down. Click. Bob waits expectantly. Didn't get it. The tentacle presses the button again. This time, even twice. Didn't get it. It seems like he's about to have an aneurysm from rage, and that's despite not having a circulatory system. The button is pressed repeatedly, the clicks merging into a furious, thundering rhythm of pure anger. It seems like he might explode at any moment now. Didn't get it. Outrageous creature! Blah blah. How do you intend to sell goods if even the concept of a button is too complex for your understanding? Blah blah blah. You're only paying me minimum wage. My teaching method was perfect. I refuse to believe such an ethereal level of stupidity exists. You're mocking me, creature. No, I'm not. Don't you dare pull such jokes again. It takes him a moment to regain his composure. He mutters something almost inaudibly about why me, it seems, or why this planet specifically. This concludes the briefing. Blah, blah, blah. You showed a tendency towards excessive vocalization, so I'll give you a warning. Do not raise your voice at visitors unless they like it. Okay. And no more inappropriate jokes. He didn't turn around as a human would. His tentacle simply shifted his entire mass in another direction with a soft gurgling sound, and he waddled across the linoleum. Finally, he left me alone. The silence at the gas station was broken only by the hum of refrigerators containing juicy juices and the buzzing of the neon lamp above my head. I stood in the same spot, as if rooted to the ground. My breath returned to me in a sharp, uneven gasp. My hands were shaking. The tip jar, which I needed to fill to avoid ending up in a dimension of ancient horrors, still stood proudly on the counter. Okay, so what just happened? Option 1. I've gone insane. That's the most logical conclusion. Prolonged stress from job hunting, malnutrition, nerves, anxiety, a disrupted sleep schedule. My brain just malfunctioned. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna wake up on my couch in my dingy rented apartment. I pinched myself again, and nothing. I scanned the room once more. It smelled of gasoline and old coffee. It was still absurdly real. And that meant everything he said, it was all true? Werewolves. Vampires. I hope so. Tips. I hope so. The fork. A hysterical mix of laughter and a scream of terror welled up in my throat, but I held it back. I needed to get through this. I needed to... Oh no. Don't tell me that's the first customer. Tinkerbell, is that you? Bells? What the hell? Oh, hello. Shit. Where the hell did this clown come from? Took great effort not to look away from those red eyes burning in the pitch-black darkness. Is he amused? Is he wondering if I'm tasty? Bob didn't exactly give any guarantees that I wouldn't get devoured at work. My brain, still recovering from the encounter with Bob, was frantically trying to figure out how to break this ringing silence. You can't just appear with the sound of a creepy piano, sir. Isn't it strange that I work at a gas station for a couple of bucks, yet you are the one who wears the jester's hat? Good evening, sir. What would you like to purchase? Please don't eat me. I'm just a miserable, tasteless cashier. Let me save. Because I have a feeling I might get a pretty quick bad ending the way things have been going. You can't just appear with the sound of a creepy piano, sir. My deepest apologies. I didn't mean to frighten you, my fair lady. He called me fair. You're right, there was far too much drama in that entrance. What would you prefer for my next appearance? Triumphant fanfare and a cheering crowd? Or perhaps just enough accompaniment for the voices in your own head? Tell me. Have you tried using the door? Point to the door. That thing? Ah, yes. Doors, and hinges, and thresholds. Square things. So incredibly mundane. Where's the pizzazz? An interestingly shaped doorway. This establishment, I feel, belongs to an incredibly powerful cosmic entity, and all it could come up with is a mundane earthly interior. I have no desire to walk through an arch that doesn't even have carved finials. Seems my boss will carve a finial out of me if I don't sell at least a can of soda to the Mad Hatter. My god, another crazy person with a strange way of speaking. And it seems he's in the mood for a chat. So, what is a beautiful, charming lady like you doing in such a dreadful, dirty island of misfortune? Well, you see, I decided to become an art major, so I hope that explains everything to you. Or rather, what is a place like this doing with such a charming lady as you? Oh wait, where are my manners? I suppose I must introduce myself. I have many names, most of which are not fit to be spoken in the company of a lovely lady. The nicest I've heard is the Mad King. A title I plan to pass from me to myself for the coming centuries. However, my mortal mother named me Dirian. Diran? Now, may I have your hand? Sorry, my mother told me not to offer my hand to strangers or any other parts of me, sir. Oh, your highness. Yeah, I'm gonna say that one. He burst into genuine booming laughter. Your mother was truly a wise woman. A masterful stroke of self-preservation. I haven't been rebuffed so delightfully in, well, at least a century. Others prefer to use enchanted swords and pitchforks. They forget that words can wound too. But perhaps I can still melt your heart. I have an eternity for that, literally. Why are you flirting with me, sir? May I know your name? My name is Lav. I am also a queen, the queen of the gas station. Used to reveal my true name. My name is Lav, but my friends call me Big D, or they would if I had any. I'm just gonna say, queen of the gas station. A queen, your majesty. Yes, more of that. Forgive my outrageous ignorance. I did not recognize the sovereign of this noble kingdom of oil and discounted juicy drinks. I forgive you. Let me guess, are you a warrior queen? There's so much fire in you. You are a queen with a wonderful sense of humor, as am I. There's nothing better for subjects than rulers who appreciate a good joke. Many believe that absolute power makes a ruler's sense of humor more sadistic, but as far as I'm concerned, they just never had a good, entertaining time impaling people. I humbly bow before you, your majesty of the midnight shift. Sorry I didn't send envoys ahead. I think honestly that's your bad. You should have sent envoys ahead. Apologies not accepted. You'll have to be escorted out of the kingdom. Banished from the shining paradise of grimly linoleum and caffeinated beverages, my queen, your sentence is like a shard of ice to the soul. You leave me no choice. In that case, I shall conquer your kingdom and take you as my prisoner. Okay. I can't wait for the sound of your wonderful voice to fill my royal basement. That is crazy. Is this how my life ends? Not in the clutches of a cosmic octopus, but in the basement of a mad clown? Will my cellmates be inflatable animals? I'm joking, my dear. No basements, unless you request it. I'm indeed exchanging silly jokes with some mysterious, toothy entity as if it's nothing. Maybe I just adapt to this new profession really quickly? Or perhaps I have a stash of nerves of steel in my bag. I can't shake the feeling, though, that this clown is about to explode himself or blow me up. Feeling my brain is turning to jelly. I don't understand when we'll finally get to the point. We've been talking for 5 minutes, but it feels like an eternity. And I've got to somehow squeeze a tip out of this guy and not lose my mind. Two utterly impossible tasks when dealing with a regular person, let alone another cosmic entity. So let's finally get to the purpose of my visit. Finally. It's completely unknown to me. Oh, for crying out loud. There's nothing interesting in the assortment of this pathetic shack, except for you, so I'm buying your time. That works for me. Let's have dinner. I'm sure you must be hungry. Getting paid to eat dinner with somebody sounds like a pretty good deal to me, Chan, I can't lie. Oh no. Allow me to create a more pleasant atmosphere for us. I'm shivering from a gust of icy wind. He just teleported half of my gas station to a radioactive dump. Or a radioactive dump to my gas station? And the jar is gone. My freaking jar. Bring that back. I'm gonna need you to bring that back. Put it back the way it was. And the jar. Looks like my rental apartment, but it seems to smell less now. What a wonderful place for dinner. Radioactive cockroaches on the menu. I think the cockroaches one is funny. Of course, a local delicacy, pan-fried in their own radioactive juices to preserve the flavor. Crispy on the outside, still alive on the inside, they grant you the most thrilling superpowers. Like what? However, I can't go long without familiar landscapes. Already ruined lands make me melancholic because all the fun has happened without me. Disgusting. Allow me. This is something seemingly less radioactive. Amazingly, I haven't thrown up yet. Feels like I've been flushed twice through an interdimensional toilet. I clear my throat. Seems like I'm sitting at a table. Much better, wouldn't you agree? Couldn't be better. That frog over there looks like old paintings of cats. You guys know what I'm talking about? That's what that frog looks like. Beautiful here and strange. Is this your home? Words of a true poet, Lav. My two favorite categories, strange and beautiful. This place is much more than a home. It's my cage and my greatest canvas for creativity. Did you make that frog over there? Every ugly tree, every mad toad, every eye-bearing mushroom, it's all a piece of me. A marvelous place, except when the rocks grow legs and start running. Okay, my apologies about what I said about the toad earlier. Please still put money in my tip jar. Including those that people make their homes out of. And now you're part of this place too, isn't it wonderful? I'm slowly getting used to the landscape. The fireflies here are quite charming. But it'd be better without that frog with a human face, that's what I'm saying. The frog notices me, too. It lets out a sad croak, and then looks at me with an expression of deep existential despair. Say nothing about the frog with the human face. Point at the frog. Who is that? That's Lore. One of the brave souls who dared to challenge my authority. My dear friend, who once walked the path of adventure. However, he didn't foresee the possibility of being turned into a frog on a whim. He even tried to wield a sword with his tiny froggy legs. fought to the end, a true warrior. Now, however, his foes are mosquitoes and bigger frogs. Tell me, dear, does he bother you? His little existential froggy crisis, I mean. Is it ruining the ambiance? He looks at me with an interested expression. He's not really bothering me. Hold on, I don't want to make a decision yet. Can you remove him gently? He suffered enough. I don't mind, Lorraine. I kind of want to know what he did, but I don't mind. I'll ask what he did. What did this walking sack of manure do besides trying to kill me? Oh, plenty. He swung a sword blazing with righteous fury or some such nonsense. He dared to come to my home, a world born of my shattered mind, and dictated that the natural order should be. What the natural order should be. Such an audacious, vile creature. He made such repulsive noises, clanking, grumbling, shouting, praying, threatening, moralizing. The last part was the hardest to endure. But as it turns out, holiness does not prevent frogification, or charification. I found various uses for Lore over the years of our friendship. Oh, the fall of the great Lore, the funniest Tuesday of this century, a Tuesday filled with pomp, irony, and croaking. Alright, I guess I'd also try to turn somebody who killed me into a frog. Ha, exactly, my dear, you seem to understand, and it's simple, cause and effect, action and reaction. I can't say I blame him. If Lorraine tried to kill me, I'd probably turn him into a frog. If I had the power. He who comes to me with a sword shall leave as a frog. That's how it went, right? I mean, that's not like the worst fate you could meet, you know? He could have done like 10 times worse to him. Oh, you truly are a kindred spirit, Lav. I knew there was a delightful darkness behind those beautiful eyes. You think I'm pretty? He thinks I'm pretty. He looks at me with an interested expression. I don't mind, Lore. You don't mind? Excellent. I think he really sets the tone for the whole clearing, aesthetically. A living monument of the consequences of poor life choices. Lorraine, did you hear that? The lady grants you a stay of execution. You may continue your pitiful mosquito-infested existence. So, dinner. I'm sure you must be starving. I am kind of hungry. I wouldn't mind some spaghetti or something right about now. It's dinner time, IRL. Traveling between realities must be exhausting. Is that spaghetti? This looks strange, but it smells delicious. Meat with honey? And next to the meat, a purple soup, possibly made from a less fortunate cashier. Whether the food is poisoned or not, if I refuse, His Highness might turn me into a frog too. So I pick up a fork from the table. And this is the most delicious thing I've ever tasted. It's 100 times better than these cheap instant noodles I usually buy from supermarkets. Even the fact that I'm currently in some other universe surprisingly doesn't seem to harm my appetite. It seems you enjoy our cuisine. My chefs have always managed to cook well, on those occasions when I noticed it. I assure you won't regret this dinner. At least, not for the first half hour after the meal. What does that mean? Thank you for the food on my plate not staring back at me. Don't give me ideas. I might not be able to resist. Please don't do that. To your fortune, however, I want your lovely eyes to look at me and only me. Both the left and the right. How about we gotta compromise? I'll make the left look at you and then the right look at my food while I'm eating. I particularly like the right one. It has more spark. Okay. Bro making fun of my non-sparked left eye. I poke at the food with my fork and watch the peculiar scenery from the corner of my eye. A silence hangs between us that might even be called cozy. We're under heavy narcotics. What's your favorite animal? Glad you asked. It's right here on your plate. Just kidding. but I do need some time to think. Let's see. The riding flea has its own charms, very disgusting ones. Carnivorous butterflies are beautiful, but they're dumb and noisy. And as we know, only what's empty inside makes a noise, or what's in my head. It's always ringing. I think it's a dog. It loves its owner with all its heart, whether they're a saint or a serial killer, and doesn't notice the difference. It lives in a constant, joyful state of blissful ignorance and misplaced enthusiasm. A creature that finds endless joy in the utterly meaningless. It's truly inspiring. Dogs are the jesters of the animal world, and I adore them for it. Especially the small, wrinkly ones. And what about you? Cats to them were probably the jesters, or I'll keep it a secret. I love cats, to be real with you. I don't know many people who don't. But I'll keep it a secret. A secret from me? How wonderfully teasing. A little locked box in your mind, and you won't give me the key. Well, keep it. I won't peek. It'll make the guessing game more interesting. I return to my meal, and just as I chew another bite, I hear His Highness's voice. By the way, how does the meat taste? Is the human flesh tender enough? I knew it was gonna be people. My fork freezes halfway. Why the hell is there human flesh on my plate? Yes, thank you, quite tender. Not as tasty as the one I had the day before yesterday. Chew while looking him in the eye. You're the law here. I am the cashier. I do have to be the law. IRL, I would probably puke. I'm gonna... Just in case this gives me a bad ending. Not as tasty as the one I had before yesterday. I meet his gaze slowly and with all authority. Place a piece of meat in my mouth and begin to chew without breaking eye contact. I can't remember ever seeing someone so shocked in my life. His mad grin vanishes, his eyes widen, and his own fork freezes halfway to his mouth. For one precious, glorious, sweet moment, the Lord of Chaos is completely and utterly baffled. My dear, you are a true treasure. You didn't just call my bluff, you raised the stakes to the sky. Okay, I don't think it was human meat. No, it's certainly not human. It's just venison, as far as I can tell by taste. Not very intelligent. It's definitely not Timmy, our carpenter, who unexpectedly disappeared near the large kitchen cauldron, perfectly sized to fit in. Definitely not. I personally issued several decrees related to cannibalism, perhaps even concerning its prohibition, but that's besides the point. I rarely have visitors, and I'd like to tell you about other interesting guests. After all, it's the most fascinating thing I can share with you. For a place where mushrooms with eyes grow, it can be incredibly dull here. Shadows in the clearing thicken and stir. They detach from the gnarled trees, rising up from the ground like black ink and spreading across the wall. Dancing and intertwining, they prepare to perform at their master's whim. Behold this incredibly crooked castle, my dear. Crooked to the point of absurdity, sadly. In reality, its curves look far more aesthetic. But give the creature some leeway for expressiveness. Creator. Many brave and not so bright souls have tried to conquer this terrifying, dark, eerie, crooked castle. So many that it became even more crooked. You see, the dreadful monster living there never liked being distracted from its important duties. He said duty. Terribly important duties, like having long, deep conversations with its own reflection, or concocting recipes with raisins. Ah, what a terrifying monster. So far, the scariest thing in this story is the presence of raisins. Listen silently. Listen silently. The monster was a tyrant, a menace. He sowed chaos and disorder, mostly on purpose. He had countless opportunities for creativity and wasn't afraid to use them. He made some people believe they were pigeons and others that they were grains. He wouldn't allow his best servants to have windows, fearing that the moon and both suns would get envious and want to take them away. and he demanded they seal the gaps in the doors as well. He locked wizards who came to him for magical gifts in a giant laboratory and promised them power if they invented a kettle that could boil everything except water. Did they eventually invent the kettle? Invent it? Oh, they did much more. After 11 years of failed prototypes, a few explosions, and chemicals running away on their own legs, they succeeded. The kettle could boil even bright memories, but not water. Water would instantly freeze, explode, and file for divorce. I immediately rewarded them with a new invention idea, a cup with a sealed top and without a bottom. Let's see how they handle that. But I digress. But behold, a ray of light in the Dark Kingdom. The first hero, Sir Loray, the Righteous, in all his clanging, self-important glory. He took a need to rest briefly because the weight of his righteousness was bad for the health of his poor back. Following rumors spread by the same monster, he fought his way through the monster's loyal subjects to... By the way, where did he even find them? Most of my subjects are too busy contemplating the color of suspenders for their suspenders, or lamenting their fate. I cherish them in their imperfection. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They are probably the most restless of them. Every story needs minions. In any case, our hero descended into the Grotto of Despair. The Grotto of Tentacles? Imagine the most sinister name you can conjure. The Grotto of My Parents' Disappointment in Me, the Grotto of Kidney Stones. The Grotto of Kidney Stones sounds pretty terrible. The dreadful, imperfect human body. The worst affliction is having them in your kidneys. What a joy that now I can choose how many I have. I prefer a negative number. Yeah, true. But let's not get sidetracked. Into the Grotto of Kidney Stones, our hero descended to retrieve an artifact capable of defeating the Monster King. The Ring of Incredible Power, a bit shoddily crafted, but I assure you it looks more aesthetic in real life. However, the brave knight didn't know that the incredible power of the ring lays in its 440 pounds of weight. That was its only magical property. The only incredible thing about this ring was its incredible stupidity and uselessness. The realization that he had spent weeks of his life on a divinely heavy paperweight, and the sudden crushing thought that he should have become a baker instead of a hero, just to get some sleep. Well, it broke his poor noble mind. Not that this mind was ever intended for serious burdens. Not meaningfully. So the knight perished. But then along came Elmer Eagle-Eye. They say he earned his nickname by escaping from an enemy fortress. On the third day of his captivity, he noticed that his prison cell was lacking the fourth wall. An archer of legendary skill who tried to kill me with a precise shot constantly, during breakfast, while bathing, at balls, during sleep, and even while I was devising a plan to get rid of him. The audacity. I hate just killing them. Turning them into madmen is much more fun. And I bestowed a little curse upon the elf as well. I made it so that every time he drew his bowstring, he'd hear the most annoying melody to his ears. Elmer was a terrible racist. He hated dwarfs, so naturally the melody became the national anthem of the dwarfs, played in a loop by a bagpipe orchestra. The pure rage it provoked derailed his aim every time. Eventually, he stormed the castle, dropped his bow, and begged for a job at my court in exchange for changing the song to anything else. He was desperate, and I was a villain. Everything aligned incredibly well. Now, he's my rural huntsman. The dwarf march is replaced for the lively elven sea shanty, and let no one dare accuse me of being callous and heartless. For me, I feel like the song would be Happy. You guys know it from the Minion movie? I cannot stand that song. Now he has a salary, good food, clothing, entertainment, and a full guarantee of non-dismemberment. A happy ending, right? For me, absolutely. I've never had such a good hunter in my life. I never quite figured out where he gets all those species of animals, but no matter. And finally the witch, in a classic giant hat under which you could easily fit another witch. She tried a different approach, seduction. She attempted to charm me, to gain my trust, to become my spouse, a fatal miscalculation. She didn't consider the fact that I never trusted big hats or people, especially when both come hand in hand. And those who wear suspenders and a belt at the same time. A person who doesn't even trust their own pants certainly doesn't earn the trust of His Highness. That's valid. Then again, I don't trust His Highness either. I don't trust myself, especially the left side of my brain, especially on Thursdays. But back to hats. Hats don't really evoke any particular feelings in me. No love, no hate, no even mild annoyance. Really? I suggest you quickly develop a strong opinion about them. They say it's a highly entertaining hobby, and useless, like any good hobby. Meanwhile, the witch was quite overt in her murderous intentions, jingling with all her concealed weapons. Why does a witch need so many hidden blades? She must have been very bad at witchery. In any case, she now resides in my dungeon. And you see, I haven't decided what to do with her yet. Her fate is a blank slate, a story yet to be written, so I offer you the pen. I simply adore random choices. Give me yours, Lav. What punishment befits her? What? Does he really want me to decide what to do with a real person? Can I even save her? It doesn't matter what I choose. Everything here follows his whims anyway. But as long as I play the circus monkey, I have no chance to get out of here alive. I have a chance to get out of here alive. Maybe I should just entertain him. Damn, what should I do? Turning her into a small hat would be funny. Turn her into a small hat. She tried to kill him. The one who lived by a big hat shall become a small hat. The irony is so absurd it's beautiful. So be it. Let her be a small cap of eternal regret. She tried to get into my head, and now she can barely cover it. A brilliant sentence. Something's missing from this tale. You never told me about the monster itself. Yeah, something's missing. Dear, who cares about these monsters anyway? I want to know about the monster. How eloquent. Alright. I must admit, this will be my first performance like this. Deeren sounds a bit bewildered, it seems. Allow me to just toss my mind up and see how it lands. You see, the monster was originally much more modest and less majestic. But we all have to start somewhere, right? Then my head suddenly became a bit crowded. First whispers, then arguments, then full-fledged discussions that had to be participated in, and involved inanimate objects. Guests in ajar doors, closets, even in cookie jars. Every container a potential foe. And I was surrounded by containers. To be fair, sometimes they told funny stories. But why was I afflicted with this curse? Pondering, it drives me mad. Pondering it drives me mad, even more so. It seems the question is meant for me. Did you touch a cursed artifact? Dear, I'm afraid you've confused cause and effect. It's I who drives the ring mad, not the other way around. Any poor innocent artifact I happen to touch might start screaming uncontrollably or trying to ask those around it about the meaning of their lives. No, I'm afraid it's a bit more banal. It's all about rotten blood. Too pure, I beg your pardon. My great-grandfather issued a decree forbidding death from old age, and a distant aunt believed a colony of sentient mold was living in her walls, claiming her inheritance. But I always thought that I would be spared this fate. I had to be temporarily isolated, to avoid embarrassing guests at royal balls, with the young prince pointing at noble lords and saying, "Haha, the gnomes finally got out from under my bed." What a misfortune for the entire family, except for those in line for the throne before me. My death would have solved many problems for my family, and indeed, many of my own problems too. I made a decision. We made it, to be precise. There was already a whole council of us by then. However, Chaos had other plans. A god, a goddess, a cosmic clerical error. I didn't know. Something ancient and terribly bored found itself a new source of entertainment. It offered me a throne, my own corner of reality to rule, where the fragments of my mind would become the laws of the land. No more restrictions, or pants for my subjects if I wished. My subjects. At first they disagreed, but then they came to terms, or their minds changed to fit the new realities. And here I am. A dramatic silence ensues. Perhaps I am the first being to hear this story in the centuries of his existence. I must choose my next words carefully. Will you give me a tip? Will you give me a tip? Darian laughs. Of course, and it won't even be someone's innards. It will be a lot of crisp paper dollars. Ah, how I love the sound of things crunching. But again, no innards. The shadows finally dissolve into nothingness. I just turned a living being into a hat, or rather became the catalyst for it. I wonder what kind of nightmares are warranted in such a case. I'm afraid royal duties await me. Our time is up. I shall send you back, Lav. I rise from my chair. I squeeze my eyes shut. The light is blinding even with my eyes closed. So unusual after all this darkness. The jar is full of money. It was all worth it. Greetings, organism. How is your work progressing? Blah, 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 blah. I see the first transaction was successful. Acceptable. This still doesn't save you from the threat of cleaning sanitary facilities, but it's a wonderful starting point for your entire tiny life. Blah, blah, blah. Can I quit? Let me save. Can I quit? No. The employment contract is enforceable in all known and unknown realities. Breach of contract will result in punishment as previously stated by me. Why do you just carry the fork around everywhere? Continue working. I'm experiencing a positive emotional reaction. I am proud of you, and I will be even prouder if you acquire even more currency. Your tactic of adjusting carefree organism is clearly paying off. Your tactic of a defiant, shouting, angry organism is clearly paying off. Goodbye, Mr. Manager, your tint will shine, particularly beautiful at this time of day. Your comment regarding the shine of my appendages is noted, organism. The secret is a meticulous regime of polishing them with void bibak slime. Goodbye. He slaps across the floor to his office. As soon as Bob's rhythmic, wet slaps fade away, a deep silence descends on the station. One moment, I'm in a surreal forest, dining on purple goo with a mad god. The next moment, I'm being praised by a multi-eyed tentacle monster. Maybe these are all just my deathbed hallucinations. I'm going insane. God, give me back my bills, my noodles, my arguments with strangers on the internet. I'm going insane. I'm an adrenaline junkie. Disgusting. Now I have to deal with that too. In the midst of my contemplation, terrifying sounds emanate from my boss's office. Unfair bills, unacceptably large numbers. Of course. What else could upset him so much if not that? Steps. Another visitor. This one decided to come in through the door for a change. He seems quite unwell. I hope he doesn't knock over my shelves of shampoo with jojoba oil and delicate lilies on his way. Oddly specific. He's not just unwell, he looks like hell. Literally. All the skin on the left side is torn off from his jaw to his temple. Oh jeez. Oh yeah, I can see his teeth. I swallow nervously. What kind of meat grinder has this guy been through? Looks like someone who could rip me apart if he doesn't like what he hears. I need to be careful if I don't want to become the next victim. I'm gonna say you look like the Terminator because it's funny. The thumb is going to end up your ass. Given the threat in that tone, not just the thumb, I won't think any further in that direction. Words clearly come to him with great difficulty, which is probably not surprising for a man without half a face. He clears his throat, but that doesn't help much. I need blood. He tried to smile. It would be charming if he still had all the necessary muscles for that. No, I still think it's charming. Now it will haunt me in my nightmares, among other things. The client pauses again briefly to clear his throat. Let me see what we have. Yeah, good choice, babe. Step to the storage. Just in case. He suddenly leans forward, boring into me with his remaining eye. Go and find me some goddamn blood. Go and find the damn blood. Yeah, there's not really a choice here. A strange pressure builds in my head, and the edges of my vision blur. An unyielding command blossoms in the center of my mind. I don't know why, but I feel an incredibly strong urge to find blood, right now. He brainwashed us. My clan is covered in blood, but still hungry. Maybe he fought with something inedible. Or is it his own? I found myself in a storeroom, a tangled labyrinth of shelves reaching up to the ceiling, stuffed with boxes, crates, and mysterious cans. In the corner, something rustled and snorted suspiciously. So, where could the blood be? I need to think fast. He's not going to wait forever. Right now I'm at the very beginning of this crazy place. Go for the food to mouth section. Supplies for self-propelling gearbox. Go to the section of foaming body washes for leather bags. Bob, where's the blood? For a moment, silence hangs, broken only by the hum of distant refrigerators. Then comes the sound of pure cosmic irritation. In your blood vessel's organism. But if you need blood for sale, then check the mouth food section. Don't disturb me, I'm busy doing business, blah blah blah. Right now I'm at the very beginning of this crazy place. Food section. These signs are driving me insane. I really hope my manager will eventually learn English properly. I'm surrounded by pure madness of anxious packaging. And even in front of the department entrances, there's some baby food for cyborgs piled up. I'm frantically trying to decipher the cooked inscriptions. In front of me are sections with food for mouth. Dense energy blocks. Infused nutritional flows. Food afraid of heat. Infused nutritional flows? Here are endless shelves of drinks. Next to Coca-Cola are bottles labeled Liquid Regret and Primordial Broth, now with nucleotides. Cans labeled Brapsy, Vodka, Solnecco. I'd love to meet the person who came up with these names. I check each shelf, pushing aside cans of essence of shits and giggles, but find nothing resembling blood. The closest thing is liquid hematogen in a giant wooden container. It smells worse than it looks. I go back. I hear knocking. It's the dry, rhythmic tapping of knuckles on a laminated countertop. It's not loud, but persistent and full of irritation. In front of me are sections with food for mouth. Food afraid of heat. The coldest corner of the store. Oh, that makes sense. It would be in a cold section. I didn't think about that. Large freezer chests and refrigerators with glass doors are covered in frost. Next to the frozen pizza are Gremlin cryo capsules, and among the buckets of ice cream you can find flavors like minty tritium and liquid family. Oh my god. A huge freezer chamber. Spare parts of human organisms? Section reeks of formaldehyde and horror. Glass jars filled with murky liquid sit on shelves where exhibits float. Try not to think about one of the containers holding a name tag that reads Kevin. Was that the previous worker? He got turned into spare human part. Unfulfilled dreams and unwarranted expectations. High content of cheap alcohol and tuberculosis. Efficient resource and artifact accumulation. Should I do Kevin or let me save again. I kind of want to do the homeless one. The jar is sealed, but my eyes water from the smell of alcohol. Just what a cool guy in a leather jacket needs. May the Lord help him not go blind when he drinks it. He abruptly lifts his head as I approach. You already? His voice carries genuine surprise and clear relief. Well, good thing you weren't wandering around for half an hour. Bring it here. He downs the contents in a couple of big, frantic gulps. The whole liter practically disappears in seconds. He's about to be shoisted. A mad grin spreads across his face. I start to worry for a moment that he'll smash the jar against his head or mine, but thankfully he just whistles and slams it against the table. This is some revitalizing crap. I just drank some damn liquid hangover. Alcohol, amphetamines, cleansing fluid. It's like the dude has been chugging pure alcohol by the liters for years. He clearly lived his best life. He might have lived longer if he hadn't decided that drinking makes him invulnerable to the cold. He shakes his head sympathetically. I don't know where you got this, but it was the best thing I've ever drunk in my life. Yeah, I figured that he would enjoy that fine brew. Probably doesn't speak well of your life. Stay silent. I'll just stay silent. Nobody has ever praised me like this in my life. I don't even know what to think. Cool that you found human blood. Good job. You're sharp. What does the rat mean? Really? You're wrong there, babe. The closest was your carcass. So you can thank your lucky stars that you're still alive. You're clearly tastier than a rat. In a way, that's a compliment. I'm gonna wash my dirty face. Don't get bored. While he's not here, I have a perfect opportunity to wipe away the blood stains. I'm just scrubbing a pool of blood. On my first day at work. An interesting story for Reddit. A wonderful tale. I'm doing just fine. Nobody has eaten me. He looks so much fresher with the second half of his face, although his expression still resembles that of a constipated owl. I'll just stand here for a while, okay? Take a little break. Besides, there's nobody here with you right now. And just so you know, if you try to contact the werewolves, I'll take your head and crush it like a walnut. I had not planned on doing that. I'm David, by the way, a vampire, as you may have already guessed. You're a little douchey, David. What an incredibly interesting way to start an acquaintance, especially that part about the walnut. I'm crystal like champagne. Nice to meet you, Lab. Okay, Lab. I knew a Lab once. She used to trade kidneys in Venice Beach. She was a good girl until she got packed up. He's trying to provoke me, deliberately sharing the dirty details of his life to see how uncomfortable I can get. No kidneys for you. I suppose I'm also selling kidneys now. Checks the catalog. Yes, exactly 10 categories. I suppose I'm also selling kidneys now. A catalog? Do you seriously have a catalog? He leans forward, genuinely intrigued, peering into the catalog. Gremlin kidneys? Is that a delicacy? Why does it say both delicacy and fuel? And animal venom? I don't know. I really don't know anything. I'm scared. Because it's a universal product. Want some? I do. Looks like I found my best customer for today. Now I have a vampire here, and he's regenerating. Wonderful. The main thing is not to accidentally blurt out something wrong. I need to be friendly. Since when do vampires wear leather jackets? Don't you guys prefer capes and ruffles anymore? Ruffles? What the hell is that? I'm no Ruffles. What even is that? Some French insult? His expression is as if I suggested he wear a maid's outfit. He'll defend that worn leather monstrosity at the cost of his life, that's obvious. Ruffles are not just a piece of clothing. They're a concentrated strike right at the core of his cool vampire persona. I don't wear any ruffles, I'm just 24 years old. And how long have you been 24 years old? Twilight reference? And how long have you been 24 years old? Very fucking funny. It's been like 24 years. And all these 24 years I haven't worn any ruffles, and I'm not going to, ever. Okay, awfully sensitive about the ruffles comment. I'm not some damn Prince Louis or whatever. It's painful to watch how people limit themselves and deny themselves simple human happiness, vampire happiness. David slightly grimaces as he moves his hand. Damn mutts. Probably not all the wounds have healed completely. Does being a vampire doctor fall under my duties? I think Bob said it was mandatory. Point out the wound. I don't want to help you, but my employment contract requires me to treat the creatures that come here. David lets out a dry chuckle. Wow, what honesty. What if the creature doesn't want your treatment, Dr. Cox? It's just a couple of scratches and a little piece of ass that will grow back on its own. I'm fine. If you don't let me treat you, my boss will lock us in a dimension. Really? And how am I supposed to clean with a fork? And why such a ridiculous amount of time? Is there that much cosmic crap in there? His voice carries a clear mockery. He's about to say something even more sarcastic when suddenly, Bob has returned to his accounts. The sounds he makes still fill my soul with dread. Probably not just mine. Finally, the forks and toilets break through the last layer of his defenses. Alright, I've spent my whole life in complete crap. I don't want to spend the next 2 millennia there too. Damn you, go ahead. Get out your band-aids with Dr. Chocula or whatever you're selling. Okay. Shirtless scene. David sheds his jacket, shirt, and t-shirt, then settles onto a squeaky stool next to the counter. He's about to face a serious trial, staying in a vulnerable position for a few minutes. For some reason, cruel fate hasn't made him claw-proof. He certainly looks like he was just thrown into a blender. Judging by those bullet scars, he has quite an interesting past. Or maybe he was attacked by werewolf cowboys with guns, most likely the former. By the way, didn't know that corpses had doctors too. I thought the only doctor available to me now was the coroner. I'm rummaging through the necromancy kit that was sitting under the counter. It's a heavy, military-style metal box with a faded label reading, Kit for Alternatively Living Organisms. Inside, besides standard bandages, there are some strange items. Silver tweezers, vials of thick, glowing liquid, additional fingers, and, of course, an instruction manual. A cheap, laminated brochure stained with something that looks like coffee. In the instructions, the first point states, determine whether you are dealing with a zombie. Ask your alternatively living subject if they ever wanted to eat someone's brain. Alternatively living subject? Have you ever wanted to eat someone's brain? What? Subject? Fuck, I'm not, not a subject. It seems I've offended his vampire feelings. He lets out an annoyed sigh for the upteenth time today. Your brain? Definitely not. Is that a joke about me being dumb? I am, by the way, very smart, and I have a very tasty brain. Not smart enough to understand that vampires don't eat brains. Do you remember Dracula eating brains? No? Did he rise from his coffin and say, "What a lovely evening, I think I'll go munch on some brains"? Stop looking at me like that. I'm not a damn zombie. I'm a vampire, and not even a chupacabra. Zombies are stupid. They can't even talk. They just grunt and groan. I don't get why that's not in your necrotherapist guide. After a workday, I can only grunt and groan and be dumb. Am I a zombie? Do you like brains? Tasty brains? With my own weapon? Gotcha. Come on, for a zombie you're too rosy, and not rotting. And by the way, I'm not rotting either, which once again proves I'm not a damn zombie. Now let's get back to treating my lupus. I steal a glance at my visitor. I wonder if werewolves just clawed him up, or if he managed to kill someone too. My instincts, something out of the Stone Age, suggest that he could have. The guy has a killer's gaze. You see someone like him in an alley, your hand automatically reaches for your wallet and phone. I lower my eyes. Next point, let's establish the nature of the injuries. What kind of wounds could werewolves leave? Claws, teeth, lacerations, psychological. Tell me about your tragic past, as it says in the handbook. Simple lacerations. David listens to this with the pride of a true soldier. Every word feels like a medal of valor. Something like that. He said it as if he didn't care, but I know better. Stroke his ego. Wounds from a real rabid beast, buddy. I need that tip. I keep making him mad. I'm dying of laughter. He chuckles happily, trying to hide a glimmer of pride behind the humor. But I won't be fooled. David is no longer just a wounded sucker. He's a true gladiator, having survived a battle with rabid beasts. Absolutely epic. I read through what medication I need and grab the regenerating extract for alternatively living life forms. Now all that's left is to apply this stuff. I dip my fingers in the jar and... Suddenly he grabs my hand. Do something wrong and I'll rip your tonsils out through your ass. You know, you have this fantastic talent for coming up with threats. Well, I suppose it's just a matter of experience, probably. And you, well, watch what you're doing, or there will be consequences. It seems he just heard the best compliment of his life. Apply the black goo to the wound. A puff of steam rises from the wound, and the air starts to smell like something is frying. It's probably very painful, but David remains calm. Not a single complaint, which is surprising. I hope it's not from your squid manager. Well, we all hope for that, buddy. Be more careful. My movements become slow and deliberate. I do everything cautiously, barely touching the skin around the wound, allowing him to get used to the sting. I can see the tense muscles in his back and shoulders relax slightly. He's still wound up, but relief is starting to wash over him. I'm just doing this for that tip, chat. He likes being glazed, apparently. Naturally, no thank yous or pleases from him, but at least he's no longer threatening to do something to my ass every 5 seconds. You know, David, every noble knight needs someone to tend to his wounds after great battles. What are you talking about? What knight? What battles? I fought in an alley stinking of urine against a bunch of dirty werewolves for territory on the outskirts of this god-forsaken city. They tore my pants, and I had to take a new pair off a junkie who was lying in a puddle nearby. What am I, a knight of what? The knight of torn pants? You are a wolfhound knight. Oh, go to hell. David says this almost affectionately. It seems we're making progress in our relationship. I finish up. Surprisingly, the wounds really are healing. The scars won't beautify this man. Why are you doing all this? The question is asked in an astonishingly serious tone. He's driving me crazy, even more than that clown from earlier, it seems, honestly. I just want to help. Lie, you want tips, and to go home, play The Sims, and watch stupid shows. I just want to help. Truth, you're an angel of mercy from the dirty gas station. These are my work obligations. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't bother with you. I just want to help. You want tips, play Sims, watch shows. His social skills are terrible. He probably doesn't realize that I lied to him. Judging by that wrinkle between his brows, he's trying to understand, but all his attempts are doomed to fail. Why? David is confused. In a system of beliefs, action always equals benefit. I'm throwing a wrench into his flawless, long-running mechanism. I can't watch someone suffer. Let's just say I have certain fetishes. I'm gonna say I can't watch someone suffer. Wow, God bless your noble heart. He shifts awkwardly. Clearly he's uncomfortable and unaccustomed to being the object of compassion, so immediately he hides behind yet another sarcastic comment. But what can I do? I feel sorry for every little kitten on the street. Sometimes I even feel sorry for especially large, nasty, troublesome kittens. It must be tough living with someone like that, huh? I bet you have 40 cats living in your apartment, and all of them are strays. David reads me like an open book. It's amazing that he can read at all. Most of the time, help isn't altruistic. People always want something in return. Money, a favor, for you to take them off the hook. Helping people for no reason is like throwing shit against the wind. Alright, moving on. Screw this. I honestly don't care what's going on in your head. This is the most unconvincing lie I've ever heard in my life. He clears his throat. Thank you. What? Am I hearing things? I thought he didn't know such words. I'm even afraid to breathe so I don't scare off this rare exotic display of politeness. He says that word as if he's pronouncing it for the first time in his life. I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually the case. Just a couple more seconds and he's back in front of the counter. So the client is fed, clean, and healed, and yet he's still here, not putting any money on the counter, and the tip jar is lacking. I look at him. He's supposed to be full of energy, but instead he looks lost. David is deep in thought, in that dark, gloomy little place that occupies his mind. Have you decided to eat me after all? The flow of his thoughts is interrupted. David lets out an irritated sigh and looks at me as if I've shit my pants. No, damn it, I'm not going to eat you. Cut that crap out. I'm curious about one thing. I haven't talked to a regular human in a long time. I wonder by regular human, does he mean my extremely natural essence? I'm no vampire, werewolf, or thieving gnome. Or does he mean my lack of a criminal record and absence of drug or alcohol dependency? Maybe he's looking for the perspective of an ordinary worker? A working class person? A gray collar? Does your face always look that funny when you're thinking about something? I don't even get a chance to respond to his jab before he follows up. Let's conduct an experiment. Suppose you're now a free vampire, able to go wherever you want, do whatever you want. Where would you go? David looks at me expectantly. A lot of things depend on who exactly turned me into a vampire. Who vamped you? He doesn't answer right away, just furrows his brow. Several long minutes pass in silence. Some old stinking jerk. A lot is mixed in those 4 words. It's as if he both hates and mourns the old jerk. Probably, that guy wasn't a contender for Father of the Year. I wait for him to continue, but he remains silent. He looks like an angry, cornered dog. It's unlikely he'll speak up on his own. And what did your old stinking jerk do? Don't call him that, damn it. Don't you dare. My bad. The rage in his eyes shifts to confusion, just for a brief moment before he looks away. I mean, yeah, call him whatever you want, including an old stinking jerk. So what did he do? That jerk suffered from power seizures. That's all there is to say about him. No amount of booze could erase what that damn villain did in my memory. I suppose all old vampires are like that. Seems he won't tell me more about his vampire dad. David looks at me expectantly. He opens his mouth, ready to tell me off or mention something about butts again, but stops himself. Probably his thank you sealed our fragile friendship. I'll tell you, but it's probably not relevant. Well, it's nothing. I was a nobody. I was just surviving as everything went to hell, unlike all those bastards born with a silver spoon up their ass. You ever see those happy American families in TV commercials? They sit at the table with a bowl of salad, smiling like idiots, and they always have a dog. Well, that wasn't my case. My stepdad was a crazy guy who thought the best birthday gift was a smack on the head. He did teach me how to shoot properly, though. I left my family dump early. It's really dumb, but I thought I'd start a band and become a rock star. But as they say, wish in one hand, shit in the other, see which one fills up faster. Dude, my mom says that to me all the time, like, specifically that. At first I worked wherever I could, then found some guys to do shady stuff with. There aren't many ways to make a living in Los Angeles area. Can't exactly work the cash register, right? David jabs again, but without malice. The antisocial environment made him resentful of the middle and upper classes, but it hasn't affected me yet. I wonder why. Hey, working the cash register isn't so bad. It would be even better without customers like you. Sorry to bruise your pride, doll. I have nothing against cashiers. It's just not the job for me. There's a hint of doubt in his voice, as if he's not quite sure what job is for him and what isn't. Maybe he'd actually make a good cashier, or an English teacher. He just missed out on having his own dog, a happy family, and a bowl of salad. That's it. That's the whole story. What about you? Oh lord, this is my chance to make up something cool, or just tell it like it is. I have a single-parent family and an art degree and no dog. He listens to how I ended up in this dump, about my job search and everything else. I didn't sell drugs in alleys, but it seems we still find some common ground. Got it. You're not in your element. David truly understands. Neither he nor I wanted to end up where we are. Neither of us knows what to do next. And we both love cheap noodles, but he can't eat them anymore. I win. Aw, poor David. He cannot have microwave ramen. He must be tired of those draw me requests, huh? I would draw you as overtly flirty, and I kind of feel like he would like that. I would draw you. Oh, like a French girl? Paint me like one of your French girls. He tries to look nonchalant, but his eyes show he's interested. Go ahead, I love beautiful doodles. He says the word doodles with such a strange tenderness that it sounds more like a compliment than an insult. I pick up a pencil. Draw him as he is. That's a pretty nice drawing. Wow, what a face. I almost forgot what I look like. Bags under my eyes like a junkie. Silence hangs in the air while David examines the drawing. He clearly doesn't know how to react to this unexpected little act of normalcy. Looks cool. Last words are spoken in a barely audible, almost reverent whisper, unlike anything I've heard from him before. I assume he probably can't see himself in reflections, I guess, or like mirrors or pictures. 2 simple words said with all the sincerity this guy can muster. I can do something too. David takes the pencil from me and, with deep concentration, almost sticking out his tongue, scribbles something. Yeah, that's not so bad, honestly. He did pretty good. A few minutes later, a drawing appears before me. I never would have thought this guy was capable of that. Mine's cooler, you draw better than me, and I have an education. Wow, beautiful. Wow, beautiful. David clears his throat, embarrassed. Nothing special, just a doodle. I was into it a bit when I was a kid. Comics and all that stuff, nothing serious. I take the drawing for myself. Alright, where were we? David looks at me expectantly. What superpowers do vampires have? A whole lot. We're practically a superhero league. I'm sure it never crossed your mind that, in reality, bloodsuckers can be way scarier than in sappy movies for girls. Looks like he's watched Twilight. Interesting. Some of us not only drink human blood, but also capture people to experiment on them. They turn human bodies into a real nightmare of flesh and bones. Dr. Moreau couldn't even imagine. And there are vampire sorcerers who could rip your soul out of your body and make you work for them for eternity, literally. Seems like I already have one of those sorcerers. His name is Bob. He's checking his bills. There he is. I wonder what inner strength it took David not to flinch. And there are those who can make your head explode, literally, with just a glance. But not all of us are such wicked bastards. We don't even have to kill a person to eat. Just drink a little instead of gorging yourself like a pig at the trough. But some don't care. They just drain all the blood and splash it everywhere. The forensics team is baffled why the person turned into a sprinkler before dying. He seems to enjoy talking about how cool vampires are. And which of these do you have? I've got a decent list of what I can do. I'm not complaining. Imagine it. You never get tired, you can party all night long, fuck all night long. You're stronger than 10 thugs combined. Well, except for 10 werewolf thugs. That might take some effort. If you want to shrink down and fly somewhere, you can turn into a tiny bat. No way. Bro can turn into a bat? Your reflexes become 100 times sharper. You feel everything. You see everything. You can hear a rat piss a block away. I don't want to hear what rats are up to. Oh Lord, laugh. That's just an idiot. Oh Lord, laugh. That's just an idiom. You can ignore it if you want. All vampires would go insane if that was true. Yeah, that's what I have thought before. If you're not able to tune any of the super sight or super hearing out, I feel like you would go crazy for real. Do I look like a madman? Kinda, you're covered in blood. Politely, I decide to stay silent. He continues. And finally, you can make people do anything you want. Absolutely anything. Are you sure the last one is due to your vampirism? David lets out a sharp, raspy laugh. You're right. Most law-abiding citizens avoid me by 100 miles. It's a working strategy in most cases, but sometimes you need a subtle approach, you know? The word subtle from this guy sounds almost comical. It's one thing to scare someone shitless. They give in just to avoid being harmed. It's another when they act with full confidence that is what they want. They don't even realize they're just vampire pawns now. Bro is like really up his own butt about being a vampire. Yes, I think I get it. He pulled that trick on me too. David smiles, but this time the smile is strained. These are the words of someone stuck in a web of artificial connections and ass-related threats. Fear and supernatural compulsion aren't the best foundations for a strong friendship. I feel like he might not like the realistic approach there. And I want money. I can enchant friends for myself, wonderful, or make someone give me their wallet. He lets out a quick chuckle. Well, not exactly friends, more like underlings. You can hatch all sorts of cunning plans with human politicians or, well, pay no rent. Last part sounds like music to my ears. He seems to enjoy talking about how cool vampires are. Seriously. Can vampires open beer cans with their minds? Oh, they sure can, but they can't drink beer afterward. When I was just recently turned about 2 years ago, I tried to eat spaghetti. Not the smartest decision. What happened? I threw up farther than I could see, puking out blood and meatballs. Left some graffiti and a bit of pasta on the wall. Gross. The guy who cleaned it up probably thought a whole spaghetti monster exploded in that alley. Mamma mia. Giving up human food is a small price to pay for immortality. No more delicious food? That's terrible. You got it, exactly. I miss pizza. My buddy used to say you always have to sacrifice something. In our case, it's pizza. Sounds silly, of course, but in reality it sucks. Still, you get used to it over time. I can see he's lying. David lives in a spaghetti-less hell. What kind of monster would doom someone to that? Yeah, hard agree. I don't think I could give up spaghetti. Or any pasta for that matter. You can still order food delivery, by the way. Just this time, eat the delivery guy. He seems to enjoy talking about how cool vampires are. Yeah. David looks at me expectantly. Why did she watch Twilight? I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't watch emo crap. You look exactly like the type to watch emo crap. I hold a dramatic pause. David looks like a cornered animal. He stares at the floor, then the ceiling, anywhere but me. Finally, he lets out a loud sigh, filled with disappointment and embarrassment. Fine, damn it. Alright, I watched everything. All Twilight movies. Watched The Lost Boys, Interview with a Vampire, Blade. The idiot who bit me didn't explain anything beyond the basics, like, don't go out in the sun, you little punk. I thought maybe these stupid movies had a clue, you know? Hidden all that silly romance and melodrama. Most of it turned out to be bullshit. I read legends, searched for info online. As you can imagine, all supernatural beings try not to give themselves away, but sometimes you still stumble upon bits and pieces. Or crazies, one or the other. My favorite, by the way, was From Dusk Till Dawn. Too bad vampires don't explode in real life. You still haven't told me if you sparkle like Edward Cullen in the sun. He takes a deep, ragged breath. No, we don't sparkle. Want to know what happens if I step into the sun? I catch fire in the sun, as if someone poured gasoline on me and lit a match. Do you know what that smells like? Like fried chicken. It's a nasty, excruciating final death, very brutal. Hot men. What the hell is wrong with you? David has clearly dealt with violence, drugs, and monsters, but a cashier craving fried vampire is clearly too much for him. You know, I've seen a lot of crap in my life, but this is the first time I see something like this. Do you have some kind of necro barbecue fetish? No, don't answer me. I don't want to know. I'll just pretend I didn't hear anything. David looks at me expectantly. I'm ready to answer. Excellent. He leans in a little closer, when suddenly we hear a wolf howling. I don't even have time to blink before David vanishes. Now he's a little bat hiding behind the counter. Aw, he looks cute. Listen up. Don't say anything about me. Sit tight and behave, or you'll feel incredibly shitty. I thought he was a big bad vampire, huh? Why are you hiding from a little werewolf? Trust me, if you rat me out to that mutt, I'll find a way to get out and twist your head off. The threat in his violence is completely lacking, mostly because his voice now comes from a very small, though angry bat. Werewolf. A werewolf is about to come here now. The creature steps inside. Good evening, ma'am. Oh, werewolf is polite. A low, rumbling bass, surprisingly calm and friendly. I'm listening, sir. Apologies for the sudden intrusion. Edward. You can just call me Eddie. We're chasing down a certain pest. You haven't seen a vampire around here by chance, have you? You know, young, a bit scruffy, wearing a leather jacket. You see, here's the story. One of our packs nearly took out a vampire sire and his offspring a few hours ago. It was a tough battle. We suffered losses. We tried to track them and found one of them. Well, more like a pile of ash where he once lay. It seems one bloodsucker off the other when he was weakened. Their family values are quite lacking. It seems patricide has occurred. David didn't tell me anything about it. Probably that's why he had all those questions about vampirism. He was trying to get advice on where to go next after killing his creator, but in a completely idiotic way. You see, ma'am, vampires are parasites on the body of our society. They drink blood like mosquitoes. But unlike mosquitoes, they kill their victims by draining them dry. They languish in boredom with their immortality and thus destroy human destinies, play with them, torment them, and derive a semblance of pleasure from their suffering. They are devoid of true feelings. I look at David, devoid of any feelings. He's shaking all over. So I would be extremely grateful for any help. I'm gonna save. I kind of want to do all three. I think the blackmail one is funny. I'll do the hand him over one first. No, he's like a squeaky toy. I grab a small bony body, a thin, desperate squeak echoes. Well, look at that. He was hiding, the rascal. I'm at a loss for words. Was it the Roblox oof sound or the Minecraft oof sound? He takes David from me, weakened from previous battles. He can no longer resist. From seemingly nowhere, the werewolf produces a tip. Here, this is for your trouble, and for your civic-mindedness. I sold a vampire for $30. I'm a business shark. The werewolf politely nods and disappears into the night. The gas station sinks into absolute silence. I survived another visitor. It seems I'm starting to get used to this job. Okay, so this time I'm going to blackmail David and see what happens. The bat nervously swallows and slowly nods his head. He fully understands my threat. I force a smile and say I haven't seen anything. A quiet, peaceful night. Eddie examines me closely. He's probably catching a faint in a blood, but my calm demeanor throws him off. Strange. Well, okay. If he shows up, just give a whistle. We won't be far away from here. Good night, ma'am. The werewolf goes off to his important wolf business. David crawls out from his hiding spot. He throws a few bills into the jar. Here's your damn money. Choke on it. He was mad about that. He leaves without saying goodbye. I can't tell if he's mad because a mortal swindled him like a sucker, or because I saw him at a moment of weakness. Will his fragile ego survive this blow? Maybe I'll find out. Either way, there's one less vampire at the gas station. Another satisfied customer. I survived another visitor. Okay, don't give David away. That bastard threatened me 5 minutes ago, but now he's small, trembling, and helpless. He's my bastard. He is very cute. I force a smile and say I haven't seen anything. A quiet, peaceful night. Eddie examines me closely. He's probably catching a faint scent of blood, but my calm demeanor throws him off. Strange. Well, okay. If he shows up, just give a whistle. We won't be far away from here. Good night, ma'am. The werewolf goes off to his important wolf business. David crawls out of his hiding spot. You could have turned me in. He stares into my eyes as if trying to peer into my soul and understand what it's made of. And that would have been the sensible decision. But I'm glad you're not one of those sensible ones. David says this with genuine relief in his voice. He's grateful to me and now doesn't quite know what to do with that gratitude. He clears his throat awkwardly. So, what's the answer to my question? What would you do if you were a vampire? His gaze reminds me of a lost fighting dog. Without a master, he's restless and can't find his place. What an advisor he picked. May the Lord help him. Honestly, for me, I would say I'd take everything life has to offer: travel, entertainment, new experiences. The world is full of wonders, and when you're immortal, all doors are open to you. Or you could learn so many new things, read so many books, even learn to play the saxophone. Both of those are pretty true to me, but I'll go with the first one, because I feel like that would be more true to him, I guess. Well, he said that he liked, or he used to like drawing. I don't think it really matters that much. He chuckles. Oh, still waters run deep and all that. Pity the road of adventure led you to a stinky gas station. Maybe you're right. The world isn't limited to this lousy town. He says this quietly, almost to himself, looking out the window at the dark, empty highway. As if he's just remembered there's something beyond his cage of alleyways and gangland showdowns. Here, for future adventures. David is about to turn around and leave when he suddenly stops. He pulls a crumpled piece of paper from his pocket, scribbles a number on it, and leaves it on the table next to my hand. But just as I reach for it, his hand covers mine, pressing it to the table. Interesting. We're holding hands right now. His skin feels cold, rough from barely visible scars and blisters. This grave-like chill sharply contrasts with the warmth of my own hand. I feel a slight tingling like static electricity. Call me if you need a ride from work. I've got a couple of ideas of what we could do before dawn. See ya. David says goodbye and leaves. The gas station sinks into absolute silence. Well, that was quite an interesting encounter. I really could have turned him in, but I didn't want to. Hang the drawing on the wall. I'll hang it on the wall. It's a nice drawing. For someone obsessed with ass-related threats, surprisingly, his hands are quite skilled. Now I also have a date invitation from a guy who wanted to make me his dinner half an hour ago. I survived another visitor. It seems I'm starting to get used to this job. Wiping off the sticky residue, hoping it was all just spilled soda from the counter, I suddenly hear the crunch of gravel outside. Hoofs? This is definitely not another vampire. The stranger leans against the counter, trying to look casual, but the way his tail twitches betrays his nervous tension. Hi. Hello. He clears his throat. Hello, babe. My name is Victor. Aren't your parents pirates by chance? What is bro yapping about? Frown at him, waiting for him to finally say what he's going to buy. No, sir, my parents aren't pirates. Aren't your parents farmers by chance? I mean, are they rich pirates who could pay a ransom for me if you kidnap me? Aren't your parents farmers by chance? I took his awkward attempt at flirting and made it my own. Now I'm the captain of this ship, since I am a true descendant of pirates. Victor nervously taps his hoof on the floor. No. Here am I not pirates? Then where did they get such a sweet peach? Here am I not pirates? Oh. He looks at his hoofs, then at the floor, back at his hoofs, and on his face is an expression of deep soul-crushing defeat. His carefully rehearsed, definitely not stolen from a 2010 forum pickup line, was turned against him. He probably thinks this is how he dies, defeated by a gas station employee. Well, strange since you are such a gem. The energy of despair radiating from him is so powerful that it could be bottled and sold here as a depressant drink. His face is burning. Victor takes another deep breath. Another deep, frantic breath. Chat, for anybody out there listening, I just want to let you know, if you ever try to pick up somebody, pickup lines are usually not the way to go about it. Just be yourself and say hi or whatever. Pickup lines, they just usually don't work very well. His stomach is growling so horribly. I hope the guy is okay. Is it really that bad? I mean, is my flirting technique really that terrible? This was the worst day of my life to have ears. Well, it could have been better. Awkwardness is a great style. I like it. Honestly, I think being awkward can be cute, I would say. This might be the best compliment he's ever heard in his life. Probably the only one. You liked it? His voice mixes surprise, disbelief, and a shy glimmer of joy. I'm glad you like awkwardness because I have plenty of it. You probably noticed. Right off the bat, is it really written on my face? Actually, I initially chose this tactic to charm you, miss. Of course, everything went according to plan. Everything according to plan. He coughs shyly and mumbles something to himself. Then he shifts his gaze back to me. Actually, miss, I'm here to acquire... He doesn't get to finish. We have a visitor. What is that? She's standing next to the counter, clicking her mandibles impatiently. 2 packs of brapsy, a pack of screaming cheese, and a bag of fairy fingers, darling. By the way, your gas attendant is a real sweetheart. It's frightening to imagine what my invisible colleague looks like. He hasn't even bothered to say hello. And hurry up, I need to rush. I have a lot of work waiting for me today. I'm starting to pack the order. At the same time, this incubus awkwardly tries to hit on the lady, and I thought we had something special. He just be trying to hit on anybody, huh? Apparently, the failed Casanova decided to try his luck on a new victim. Wow, you seem, so busy and cool, ma'am. You must have a very wonderful job? She starts clicking her mandibles energetically, producing a buzzing sound that vaguely resembles laughter. Wonderful. Oh yes, wonderful. Wonderful for those who don't like to eat, sleep, or see their children grow. Really the best job in all 9 worlds. Speaking of children. Victor barely recovers from her sarcasm when the lady immediately pulls a wallet out of her bag and unfolds it. Over and over again. It seemed endless. This is Guju. He has his father's mandibles. Victor gazes into the abyss, and the abyss gazes back, revealing baby pictures. The seduction attempt has failed. Again. Like any mother, Lady Mantis loved her children and considered it her sacred duty to tell every passing incubus about them. This is Gujo. He's in his rebel phase right now. He pierced his mandibles. Can you imagine? He makes such a racket when he eats. The image of a larva in a biker jacket makes me snort and reminds me of David. Yeah, I can see that. And this is Gigi and Gaga, or Gigi. They're still larvae, but are already so talented. What talents can larvae have? They just lie there and eat. I do too, though. Wait, don't think about that. You have very beautiful children, ma'am. All 20 of them. Incredibly cute. That's just the first wallet. Oh my god. Help him hand the lady her order. Oh, I got a bit carried away. I really am in a hurry. Here, your money, darling. Victor watches her disappear into the night, then turns to me with a grateful look. Thank you, miss. I couldn't handle 20 more kids. To be honest, I already broke down at the 8th. And I thought looking after a cat was hard. The lady left very little in tips. Probably all her money went to her children. Or I would say so, bro. She has like 40 children. Victor suddenly remembers he came here to buy something. However, my visitors rarely recall that. I need a book. Victor scans at my stinking supernatural realm of discount rot and chocolate bars. It's a guide for, well, you know, succubi and incubi. I can't remember what it's called, but I've definitely heard something about it. Could you take a look? It's definitely not for me. It's for my less experienced friend, because I'm, you know, employee of the month in my layer. Yeah, I believe that, Victor. It's definitely for your friend. I just wouldn't know them because they go to another school. He didn't specify whether he was the worst or the best employee of the month. Well, you know, life force harvesting for dummies or something like that. I hear him mumbling quietly to himself. Such a shame. I should have just stayed home and rewatched Evangelion for the 10th time. I'm heading to the storage room. Just a few hours before I was rushing around here looking for blood for a very hungry monster. Now all these vials, eyes, and tentacles seem less ominous. A gigantic dead moth lies on top of one of the boxes. Or perhaps it's just very tired. I'm rummaging through the book section, deep in between baboon metaphysics and limits of patience of your dead servants. I find the desired volume. I come back from the storage room, holding this forbidden, mind-bending treatise titled Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Demons and Everything You Didn't Want to Know About Them. Wow, this is definitely better than those PDF guides from various sites for, never mind who. Clearly not for the whole family. Oh, let's study it? Yes, it would be very unusual if he just paid me, tipped me, and moved along. I expect too much from this life. But in fact, this will be an entertaining educational lesson. It clearly won't be unnecessary. And the guy looks like those pictures are enough to make him faint. The sooner this is over, the sooner I can send him on his way. We find a cozy spot next to the counter. I pull the grimoire closer. I open the book, and the pages, yellowed and brittled with age, release a cloud of dust and indecent, horrifying desires. Incubi, the nature of the tempting rogue, hoofs of desire. Tempting rogues. Oh, that's me, yes, definitely me. Hoofs are just like mine. You have no idea how awful they clop, especially on tiles. When you sneak to the fridge at night, the whole house wakes up with you. Everyone thinks there's a big clumsy cow living in your apartment. I can imagine that would be quite annoying. It's like walking around on high heels. Every time I wear heels, they're super like loud and clompy. Yeah, I think you really are an incubus. They're all purple. Oh, you're right. All incubi really are purple. I thought my skin color was just some kind of coincidence. You know, like when you create a character in a video game and just spin the color wheel until you stumble upon something weird. He gives me a cautious look as if not entirely sure about the coolness of his purple hue. Purple's actually my favorite color. I love the color purple, too bad I'm not purple. Purple is a great color. His face immediately brightens with a smile. Yeah, well, I think it's pretty cool too. It's nice to know you like my, what's it called? Demonic phenotype. Victor turns his attention back to the book and runs his clawed finger down the lines. Incubi, appreciators of the vibrant hues of the soul. They draw power, not from blood or life force, but from the pure, potent energy of mortal emotions. And although a refined bouquet of positive emotions is the preferred ambrosia, what a fancy word, a practitioner can also sustain themselves with more coarse, fickle energies of negativity. Despair, horror, and humiliation provide a quick, albeit unpleasant, rush of power. It's no wonder that now, after an argument with someone in the comments, I feel like I've eaten a few raisins. Judging by the expression on his face, he clearly isn't cut out for horrors and humiliations. His limit is probably arguing on 4chan, also a kind of source of horrors and humiliations, but still it's a bit different. An incubus can, albeit less effectively, form a symbiotic connection by feeding off of a single consenting mortal vessel. The mortal vessel, in turn, can absorb some of the power from the incubus, among other things, their immortality. Wow, sounds like a decent deal. I certainly always have plenty of emotions, mostly hatred for the fact that to earn money you have to work. A whole mountain of raisins for Victor, or whatever he called it. What a relief, just one person. The thought of having to chase after a whole bunch of strangers makes me feel sick. Strangers are the scariest thing right after rent. Yeah, I totally understand you. It's probably even harder to deal with clients like me. We are getting this tip chat. We are making that tip jar full. Communication is already a horror show in itself, and then you add a literal horror with vampires and ghosts. Just a nightmare. He really looks at me with sympathy. He feels sorry for me. I don't even know how to react to that. Trying to understand what people want from you is quite the challenge. It's like trying to play a game with its rules changing every 5 seconds. And someone has turned off your screen, and you're paralyzed. Basically, yeah, I completely get you. Why don't you work here instead, Victor? Take my job. Let me go home. Victor flips through the grimoire, reading the chapter titles. Techniques of rogue seduction, juicy emotional juices, using lascivious energies for thaumaturgical purposes. I don't even want to know. I just want to not starve without energy and maybe pay my rent. I don't need to be the lusty cousin of Doctor Strange. Why don't you just take my job, Victor? His fingers finally jabs at a random chapter title somewhere in the middle. Love letters. It seems completely and irrevocably outdated, especially that part about carrier pigeon colors. Love letters? Who writes love letters anymore? This should apply to text messages now, right? But this, is a good start. Let's work on this before moving on to more complex seduction methods. He pulls out a pen from somewhere, a cheap ballpoint with a little anime cat charm on the end. I hand him a grease-stained napkin like everything in this rotten place. The book says to convey aching adoration and a hint of forbidden desire. New phone. Who dis? Victor starts scribbling something on the napkin. Maybe something like this? Yeah, I think that's actually perfect. This conveys aching adoration perfectly. Really? You think so? Thanks. I mean, it's obviously a silly picture, but it has a lot of layers of meaning, you know? I think it's perfect. It's like saying I'm just a humble being unworthy of your gaze, but I'm supported only by crumbs of your attention. Yeah, I really do be saying all that. Victor continues to flip through the book. Recognizing the desires of the vessel, he scans the first few lines of text. It's all about observing subtle hints, interpreting body language, and engaging in candid conversations to uncover the special nature of mortal carnal desires. He glances at me. What does Vessel Lav want? The vessel wants money. The vessel wants a stable mental health. The vessel wants fame, love, and adoration. The vessel wants to leave work as soon as possible. I would probably honestly choose this or the money. But we want money. I'm just gonna be honest, the vessel wants money. Victor, who was expecting some incredible revelation, blinks in surprise. Oh right, of course, that makes sense. And with this, we can work with it. It says here that incubi naturally attract values, including material ones, and they always have something to offer mortals. Well, to anchor the central aspect with the material, honestly, my finances have been okay lately. I'm curious, where exactly did he sell his soul? I felt like I've been selling mine to my employers my whole life, but somehow it's always for $3 an hour. $3 is highway robbery. We continue to study this villainous seduction manual. The art of verbal seduction and slippery flattery. To his surprise, Victor finds no mention of the fact that pirate compliments work on living people. We examine the first paragraph, where words are labeled as keys to the treasure chest of the heart, and flattery is described as a powerful aphrodisiac for the ego. It's all very dramatic, but the main idea is quite simple. Say nice things, don't say unpleasant things. This is definitely outdated. If I tell someone that his eyes are double gateways to the Champs Elysees, I'll definitely get sprayed with pepper. And this, good lord, when I kiss you I tremble like a paralyzed beggar. How is that even supposed to work? No, that's too much even for me. Victor clears his throat. His gaze slides over to me, trying to latch onto something particularly attractive about my appearance. You have very elegant ear shape. Oh yes, thank you, Victor. I do pride myself on the shape of my ears, actually. No, you. God, why me? No, you. Do I? Thank you. They're very nimble now. But there's no instruction for when somebody compliments you back. Probably don't blush, and that's something I didn't manage. He takes a deep breath, gathering his courage for another compliment. Actually, I think you have a wonderful sense of humor. Like, nothing can really get to you, right? Most people would scream, run away in horror, or fall into a true existential crisis. I'm the main joker of this greasy gas station. Should I be proud or horrified? Smile, that wasn't bad. He smiles gently in response. Despite everything, he starts to relax. He's probably beginning to feel more comfortable around me. I would have never thought a monster would have to struggle with discomfort from interacting with a mortal soul, and not the other way around. Another chapter. How to be a mirror. I didn't know we could change. Oh, it's metaphorical. The text describes the principle of mirroring, subtly borrowing mannerisms, speech patterns, and even expressed opinions of the victim to create a sense of closeness and understanding. The path of least resistance to gaining mortal attachment. Oh no, what about all that stuff about just be yourself and everything will work out? My mom lied to me, didn't she? I mean, if you need to feed off of them, it makes sense, but if you're actually just looking for a companion, then it's best to be yourself. With similar interests, what do ordinary people like? Football and the weather? Definitely not anime and Dark Souls. Discussing the brilliant soundtrack of Silent Hill with people is a bad idea, that's for sure. There are millions of weebs out there, and people that like Dark Souls. You will be fine. Alright, practice. The book says that practice is the key to success. Victor lifts his gaze to me. Play along with me, please, like we just met. Beautiful mortal soul. I've appeared to you in half-dreams so many times, but I finally decided to find you in reality. I won't let you go so easily again. Even though the words aren't the most elegant, there's something supernatural about them. I still begin to feel a pull. A shiver runs down my spine. Come on, you don't have to pretend to get close to someone. Give in to the feeling. Let me save. Give in to the feeling. He moves closer, his movements suddenly becoming smooth and eerily graceful. The words this creature now speaks bypass my mind and penetrate straight into some primal parts of my brain. I play along, but part of me realizes this isn't entirely a game. It's a mortal being, and he's a demon from hell who came for my wretched soul. I know this is dangerous, mortal, that it's wrong, it's forbidden fruit, but doesn't that make it all the sweeter? Oh no, the last remnants of reason within me protest. Oh yes, everything else replies. I lean into him with my whole body, eager to hear the last forbidden, incredibly sensual. Ow, damn it, my leg just cramped. The resonant hum abruptly cuts off. We're back in that little gas station. Sorry I couldn't hold the seductive pose for more than 10 minutes, but it seems like we were doing pretty well, right? What even was that thing? He's flipping through the treatise a bit longer before letting out a sigh. His stomach growls again. It seems he could use an emotional snack. I think we've covered all the important stuff. I suppose it's time to wrap things up. He starts to rise from the floor. Wait, how did it happen that no one explained anything to you? Even I had a briefing, a 2-minute one. I'll tell you, but promise you won't laugh? I promise. Not promising anything. Not promising anything. You know, that doesn't sound very reassuring. But I want to tell you so badly that I'll go ahead and do it anyway. I accidentally sold my soul on the darknet. Yeah, I'm laughing. I'm actually laughing. He holds a dramatic pause. Bursts out laughing. Yeah, I know, it's stupid. Now I have an eternity to replay those fateful seconds over and over. Fuck, what an idiot I was. I dropped out of college back then because of constant stress, moved into a tiny dump, and barely left my apartment. I was scraping by with some freelance work. Sometimes I chatted with various anonymous folks from 4chan, people without names, gender, or age. And then I stumbled upon a stupid ad. What did I have to lose? Definitely not a demon 7566, and the chat offered me a chance to escape loneliness. Later, after I turned into this creature, he told me he did it for laughs. He left no instructions, just wrote "get good" in the chat and deleted all contacts. Yeah, that sounds about right. Bro probably plays League too, huh? He was curious to see if I could handle it. His chance to escape loneliness turned out to be putting me in an incredibly deadly situation. He lifts his eyes to me. This memory is a fresh wound for him. Before I can even respond, he jumps up from the floor. But I've already wasted enough of your time. He clops his way to the counter. Well, to be honest, I didn't really understand much. Those chapters were strange. He lets out a quick chuckle. But you know what? It was great. I haven't had this much fun in a while. I think I even ate properly finally. Positive energy, I mean. Thanks for the lunch. I'm not sure if I need to pay for that too, but I'll leave some money just in case. His tail twitches awkwardly. I haven't even really interacted with people since college killed my will to live. Feels strange not to feel like such an idiot around someone. Thank you very much. He tosses some money into the jar and then takes a deep breath and adds, and maybe someday we could, well, hang out together? Not as a lesson, just play some silly games like friends. Okay, buddy, I'll think about it. Why not as friends? I'll think about it. Ah, cool. Well, good luck with the rest of your shift, Lav. It was nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, too. The gas station returned to silence, broken only by the hum of refrigerators and my own too loud thoughts. Chat, I managed to get a full tip jar. I'm pretty good at this job. So a crazy god, a vampire thug, and a shy incubus walk into a gas station. Sounds like a start to a really bad joke. My life is now a joke. Just great. I just wanted to pay my bills. I didn't sign up for interdimensional quarrels and therapy sessions for the undead. But on the other hand, I wasn't eaten, and I wasn't turned into a piece of furniture. By the standards of this night, that's a resounding success. I wonder if it was possible for us to get eaten. I wonder if I missed something, where if I messed up I could have gotten eaten. I cautiously glanced at the door to Bob's office. There was a low guttural humming, like a giant, disgruntled computer tower was working inside. The clock on the wall indicated it was the end of my shift. With a heavy sigh of relief, I began closing up the place. Finally, I walked to the front door, inserted the key into the lock, and was about to turn it when suddenly... Uh-oh, what? Organism! Blah, blah, blah. I jumped in place, nearly dropping everything. Organism, your performance has exceeded all my algorithmic predictions by 47.3%. Blah, blah, blah. You are not just an organism, you are an efficient, flawless machine for generating currency. Blah, blah, blah. I'm feeling an emotion of your kind describes as managerial pride. I can't remember the voice I gave him. If you keep up the good work. What was it more like that? If you keep up the good work, the possibility of receiving a 25-cent bonus will become not just hypothetical, but quite real. Blah, blah, blah. Go, organism, restore your energy resources in return for further exploitation. He said the quiet part out loud. What a relief. He vanished as suddenly as he had appeared, leaving nothing but ringing silence behind. I stood for a few seconds, processing what I'd heard. Then I slowly turned the key in the lock. Click. First shift completed. I survived. And now I can do anything, which means... Call David, call Victor, return to the store to Bob. A romantic evening awaits you. I don't know about Bob. I don't think I'm rocking with Bob like that. So I'm gonna return home first. No, I've had enough adventures for today. Wait, what about, the Mad King? The bus arrived surprisingly quickly. I climbed into the half-empty cabin and collapsed onto a seat by the window. Outside, the walking city rolled by. Ordinary people heading to ordinary jobs. None of them selling discount rot or fending off vampires. My pigsty retreat never felt so homely and cozy. The familiar creak of floorboards, the smell of dust and cheap coffee all seemed heaven sent. I didn't even bother with dinner, just shrugged off my clothes and fell into my bed. Soft, familiar, free of tentacles and ectoplasm. No monsters, no threats, just silence. And pleasant, nightmarish dreams. Okay, so that was one of the endings, I guess. Call Victor. Victor promises to come faster than the wind. True to his word, when his car pulls up in the parking lot, he nearly knocks over a trash bin. My bad. It's an old, well-maintained car, clearly inherited from his grandfather. Inside, it's warm and smells nice. His apartment is exactly as I imagined, a bit cluttered but cozy. Oh wait, no, this is Victor. And soon I get humiliated by the very first boss. This is a nice drawing. Victor, sitting next to me, laughs. It's not that you're bad at this, as you say, it's just that I'm a nerd with a whole lot of free time. His fingers glide effortlessly over the buttons. I felt at ease, for the first time in a long time. No fear, no tension, just two people playing video games. Rest my head on his shoulder or lean back and watch him play? Well, we're already this far for this ending. Rest my head on his shoulder. He freezes for a second, then a blush appears on his violet cheeks. He coughs awkwardly but doesn't pull away. Instead, he gently leans his head towards mine. Lav, you've made me so happy in just one evening, and I'll do everything I can to make you happy. I close my eyes, listening to the quiet clicking of buttons. An incubus partner. My partner is an incubus. Sounds like an anime title. And he's better at Souls-like games than I am. For now. Something very interesting is definitely happening with my life. So that was the Victor ending. Let's do the David ending. Maybe it was a bad idea, or maybe it was my best one yet. The creature on the other end informs me in a raspy voice that he'll be here in 10 minutes. And sure enough, soon the roar of a motorcycle shatters the silence of the night. A battered but powerful bike pulls up next to me. Come on, move your ass, sun rises soon. His voice sounds gentle. I move my ass and climb onto the seat behind him, wrapping my arms around his waist. He lets out a satisfied sigh. And by the way, enjoy today's sunrise while you can. I freeze. I know exactly what he means. This could be my last sunrise as a human. Oh, so he's gonna vampire me? Maybe I want to become a vampire, maybe not. Either way, we're making decisions together now. He slightly turns his head. The surprise in his eyes is replaced by a brief glimmer of respect. He looks at me like a tamed wolf, like an equal. His hand covers mine, resting on his chest, and gently squeezes it. Okay, boss, whatever you say. Whatever awaits us, eternal wanderings, arguments over who cleans the blood off the dishes today, and the necessity of pretending to be our own descendants, we'll face it together. The motorcycle roars and heads out onto the highway. I like both of the endings so far. It's interesting that I didn't get a Mad King one. I wonder if I did something wrong. Return to the store to Bob. A romantic evening awaits you. I guess we gotta do the Bob ending. Oh no, Mr. Manager, we're not saying goodbye just yet. I head back to the gas station and push open the door to his office. Oh god. Oh my god. In the middle of the room, buried under folders and invoices, stood a gigantic, ridiculous canopy bed, and on it, surrounded by rose petals, reclined Bob. Oh, Mr. Bob. Or rather, he wasn't just lying there, he was posing. One tentacle coyly supported his spherical body, where a human's chin would be. Others were elegantly draped over the silk sheets. Oh, Bob, what thread count is this? His numerous eyes blinked slowly, focusing on me. Organism. I wasn't expecting you so soon. Blah, blah, blah. His voice, as always, boomed in my head, but now it had sultry undertones. But since you're here, blah, blah, blah. One tentacle slowly, seductively beckoned me forward. I propose we spend the evening in romantic engagement. We'll study void bibbuck enclosure schemes. Blah, blah, blah. That sounds great to me, Bob. I took a step into the office and slowly closed the door behind me. Okay, so that looks like it's gonna be it for Don't Eat the Cashier. I'm not sure why I didn't get a Mad King ending. I don't know if that's like the fault of my own or they just don't have one right now or something. I'll look it up, but I really enjoyed this game. It was really fun. The art style is really nice. I say that about like every game, but it's just true. The art style is nice. The characters were really interesting. I think it would be fun to have like a new chapter where it's like the second day of your shift, even though there's like already endings or whatever. So I don't know how that would work with the storyline. But really good. My favorite ending was probably the Bob ending. I think that was the best ending, and if you disagree with me, then you're wrong. But let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below if you made it this far. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.